Hey, True Believers, Englentine here. I am with Dalton, the Authenticator.
Fresh off a review of the menu, which you all should go watch. The longer one, though, if the shorter one is still
And
there.
that's
That
on
was,
I Love Movies,
yeah,
our
that
movie channel.
was the shorter one was literally I got halfway through and then went, as Englentine would say, F a donkey, and decided
Well,
to do it as a live stream
to
instead.
compress, though. It's good to compress. Also here with the evil black cat and the real Dr. Venkman, except no substitutes.
Hello, Ahsoka.
Hey, Ahsoka, we were, but none of the former participants or the previous participants have joined us. So I had to start. We were getting a little bit late. So I figure let's talk about some pop culture here. A lot of stuff has happened, a lot of things to talk about. The one thing we're going to talk about because everybody else is going to. Hey, you know what? Okay, hold on. I'm going to get past this because I said we were going to be doing this 9 o'clock Monday, and I was here 9 o'clock, and it was 18 minutes past, and it was like, okay, nobody's going to be doing this. So I decided, okay, nobody's here. So I decided to change up because nobody was here at 9 o'clock. Nobody was here at 9:05, 9:10, 9:15. Time to go. Time to do something. And since everybody else is waiting, okay,
but you don't need a panel to do it, though. It's a tier list.
But point being is nobody. I was the only person waiting for this. And the thing is I Monday 9 o'clock every week for 3 years, 4 years now. So I'm sorry, I had to do something. I'm not going to go through this again.
Welcome to my world. I go live and there's no one waiting, and then they show up.
Yeah. So here's the thing. That's one of the things we got. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We're going to begin with something a little bit closer to home. I really need you guys in here to talk about Johnny Oliver because I am not a Power Rangers guy. It's not because Power Rangers suck. It's because it
was literally released the year I was born, and Englentine was already in the business of having his own children by that point.
Well, thank you for finishing. But yeah, I was a father and I was working, and this was, I mean, I liked Ultraman when it was my time to have that kind of character. And of course, you guys all know about Seals and Croft and all that kind of stuff.
It's a good thing I'm here. I can at least tell you his real name. His name is Jason David Franks, not Johnny Oliver. Tommy.
Okay. I was about to correct you on the fact that his name is Tommy, but never mind.
Okay. Yeah. So if you guys want to pay your respects and talk about Tommy, the Green Power Rangers. See, I will absolutely screw this up because I have no Power Rangers knowledge beyond Power Rangers versus Justice League.
Jason David Frank,
so please,
who plays
guys,
Tommy Oliver.
I give you the floor for a little bit.
I'll just say real quickly, Jason David Frank's guy. He went into mixed martial arts and did a couple bouts in MMA. And then he retired from that. The guy he started off as the Green Ranger, and then he came back at the end of the first season, and they repackaged him as the new Mystery White Ranger. The guy decided to come back a couple seasons later for a different show as a new Red Ranger. So the guy loved his fans. It was like 2 years ago. He got a kid trying to bring in a gun to shoot him at a convention. It's crazy, 2019. But sad, that the guy took his life. I mean, the only thing I saw that he had a TMZ article from August that he was accused by his wife of cheating. Don't know if that's true. Whatever, it's TMZ. But I don't like when anybody takes their life. It's a waste. That being said, the guy worked with indie fan artists and all, Bat in the Sun, where he reprised his role as the Green Ranger, as Tommy, and fought against Ryu from Street Fighter. So the guy was all for his fans. He's a loving guy. He's survived by 4 children, I believe. And
he returned to the Power Rangers many a time. Up to and including being the mentor figure in my sort of semi-inaugural season, because I got in between Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder, and Tommy was the mentor figure. He was the Zordon of the Dino Thunder era. So
Yeah,
Tommy kept being a recurring character, and the running joke in the fan base was Tommy has been almost every color. So if you wanted to, you could literally just make an entire team of
Tommy's
Rangers that was Tommy Oliver. Yeah. I didn't realize until I saw an article after talking about it that he had taken his own life. I was just sad that he had died, and it made me also think of the fact that not a week ago we lost the Batman, we lost Kevin Conroy, and the world is now also down a Green Power Ranger. And for those that grew up with the Mighty Morphin era, the Green Ranger story arc was kind of what put Power Rangers on the map and allowed it to be much more serious than you would think given the original premise of Power Rangers. So yeah, it's a big deal for a lot of people's childhoods. And
yeah, the guy did a lot of fan interactions. You know, he went to every convention. You know, he just, you know, he was a good guy. And but now his private life, I have no idea. That's Nora said. The guy just passed away. But still, yeah, it was 94, 95 when Power Rangers came out. He was one of the main cast. And the fact the guy loved the franchise so much, or he couldn't get another job, I don't know either way, but he kept coming back, reprising his role. You know, he was, and the funny thing is on the show, he was the only one that actually knew how to do martial arts in the cast. So he fought to do his own stunt moves.
To be fair, the other members of the cast did eventually learn how to for the roles. It's just that Jason David Frank was the only one that came in with experience.
Yeah, he's the second Power Ranger that died, right? Because the yellow one originally is the one that got in a car accident.
Yeah,
the original yellow one, and I think another one died too, but the ones that I know of is the original yellow.
Yeah,
is the one that played Billy the original Blue Ranger dead, or am I thinking of a different one?
I think he's alive.
He's the original cast. I think the yellow one, and now Jason David Frank.
Yeah, the green one now. Yeah, everyone else is still alive. Amy Jo Johnson was the Pink Ranger, and she had a friendship with him throughout the years. But yeah, he's the second Power Ranger that I know of that's basically died. So it's sad. Everybody's childhood is like you had Batman, and then you had, for those who grew up with Power Rangers, you know.
Well, really the big fight among kind of my generation and a little bit younger than my generation was Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. I kind of grew up with both because I got into Ninja Turtles right around the time of the 2005 series, which was an excellent time to get into Ninja Turtles. That series was excellent. But I also got into Power Rangers, like I say, between Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder, which was also right around the time of the 10th anniversary, which meant that they were rerunning the entire 10 seasons of the show at that point, which for my nerdy heart that loves going deep lore on everything was just perfect because it allowed me to get caught up on all of the Power Ranger seasons that I had missed up until that point.
Yeah, it was crazy though. For those who are watching Twitter yesterday explode, because yesterday morning one like a Taco Con whatever like reported it saying he is dead, but then people were questioning, is this legit? Because even I was looking, I looked Google search, there's no TMZ, there's no all the other big names like CNN. When people die, there's like usually always an article. Didn't happen until much later in the afternoon but the original Black Ranger went on Facebook and talked about, you know, his missing his friend, rest in peace. But it was actually I guess his personal trainer is the one that actually leaked the news that he had passed away. So 49 years old.
That's way too young.
Yeah, but then again, Kevin Conroy was 66, and that's also way too young.
That's way too young too. I could say 49 because I can't imagine losing my life 4 years ago, 2 years ago.
And Ahsoka and
three,
Omar,
excuse me.
I apologize. I only watched the first 3 seasons, and then I dipped out because I aged out of it. And he got rid of Amy Jo Johnson, so there's no one really for me to look at.
It is it is a sad thing when somebody that young dies. It just seems like they're gypped out of half of their life, you know? I mean, you know, granted, it's the you're falling apart worst half, but the man kept himself in shape, so he probably could.
Yeah, I mean, to get to the point that I made when Kevin Conroy died, and I talked about it on a live stream with Brainstormer. I jokingly said, can we just steal like 3 or 4 decades from George Soros and give them to Kevin Conroy? And now I'm thinking, can we steal like 60 years from George Soros and give half of those years to Kevin Conroy and half of them to Jason David Frank? Stop taking my childhood icons and leaving duplicitous globalist weasels alive, please.
Let's see. We have Jason David Frank is the 4th deceased Power Ranger. The other 2 are from seasons I'm not sure. Most of you left the series long beforehand. That's understandable. I mean, you kind of grow out of things. I didn't watch the last few seasons of Super Friends until I was much older. Like, I didn't watch them because I was like 15 at the time they showed up. But so I wasn't into cartoons like that. But when I got older and the nostalgia hit, I bought the DVDs. I went and searched for them and finally got to watch them. It just happens.
Yeah, and Omar, not only to age out, I got sick of them rebooting the series with different names, different titles. Like the cast I grew up with, the first were pretty much kicked out.
The Zordon era.
Yeah, the Zordon. That's what I liked. You know, I checked out after the Alien Rangers. I was like, I'm done. It's like,
yeah, the thing is, like I say, I got in at a perfect time because it was the 10th anniversary of the show. It was somewhere between Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, and SPD, and I was able to go back and fulfill my nerdy predilections by binge watching all 10 seasons that I had missed. And so I guess I'm the one on this panel most qualified to appreciate it as the kind of long form storytelling that it is. And that is one thing I will say for Power Rangers that makes it special, because outside of comics, they don't really often do that kind of long form storytelling. I guess you could say for Doctor Who over in Jolly Old Blighty, but as far as American franchises go, there really isn't a long form storytelling sort of story in geek genre outside of comics and Power Rangers. So that is one thing that definitely made Power Rangers special, was even after the Zordon Rangers were no longer the main characters, they still regularly did callbacks to things that were established in the Zordon era. And that's why people like me didn't mind necessarily the cast changing, although I would have liked to have seen more of the original Mighty Morphin cast more often. I mean, like I said, Tommy went from Green Ranger to White Ranger to Red Ranger to eventually being the basic the Zordon of his season in Dino Thunder. So
yeah, I was watching it live the first season. I was like 11 years old when that series came out, and then like I said, there were so many other shows out there. Like it'd be a Justice League coming out later on. Yeah, Batman Beyond, the Batman series was still on. There was just so many shows back Saturday morning. So I was like, Power Rangers was like, all right, I'm going to puberty. I see Amy Jo Johnson. That was it. The storyline sucked. The monsters sucked. It was the same formula over and over again. But the only thing good about the show, I guess, was the action figures. For me.
Yeah, but you're a bit normie and don't really get into like the nerdy.
How dare you assume I'm normie?
You are, though. Very, very often when we go off on nerdy tangents, you're the one who's basically all but yelling nerd like Homer Simpson.
That actually does track. You do come off the most outsider as far as the geeks. Like you're the new guy in the geekdom.
Well, no, it's called I pick and choose. I'm picky about what fandoms I want to do, and I don't go full, FIFA. No, I guess which I want to go all the way into the fandom. Like I know Zach is like legitimately Lord of the Rings. I'm sure he's got the Hobbit, like everything. It's like he's got the cosplay.
Yeah, you're not really a Lord of the Rings fan until you've read the Silmarillion. Is the standard.
Like I can stand, like, if you really love something, you're gonna do deep research. But if you're like speaking Klingon to me, I'm gonna call you a nerd.
Yeah, but nerd is an insult around these parts, guys.
On one hand, I actually kind of admire the commitment to one certain fandom that deep. On the other hand, I do feel the same way. It's like, God damn, man. But then again, you know what? those people who really commit to certain things can come up with some really cool shit. I've got a Fred who is into doing makeup stuff. He's never actually gone and gotten a job as a makeup artist, but he does makeup and creature effects. Right now, he's working on a Krampus, and it looks like just like it came out of the freaking movie. I think he should be over in Hollywood trying shit out, but go figure.
You can cosplay. I'll just say, you can go in the Nerdome, cosplay to yourself. Just remember, it's not real, though. That's my only thing.
It is real. It is real. You're not real.
Said Phaser's the stun. Sorry.
But you know what, though? Give it up to the people who do go full in, because
Well, no, the costumes they make from hand. These guys they're creative. Like I said, like it's awesome. It's the 3D printing models.
I'm gonna share this out. This guy does not do this professionally, but he absolutely freaking should. Even if it's just like if he takes commissions for people. That's his living room. He just decided, you know what? I'm going to build Krampus for. Oh, wait, did I share it? Can y'all see it?
Yeah, we can see it. It's just the fact that he's got a really old looking house, too. It's creepy.
Yeah, it's
the lighting.
Yeah, I know, right? The guy, he's been posting pictures of, okay, well, today we do the hands. I mean, literally, that's one, like a 2x4 going up, two 2x4s going out and over. And then everything's just kind of slid right onto it. They made the mask, they made the hands, they made the horns, everything. I'm pretty sure they didn't sew the jacket, but yeah, that's pretty freaking impressive. And look, he is just a special effects geek, so he became a special effects artist, but I don't know why this guy isn't in Hollywood doing stuff, man.
Because they wouldn't take him is the sad part.
Well, no. Here's
people with the actual skills often don't get.
So here's something I'm going to counter that with. With phones the way they are now, you could get an iPhone that has editing, the whole 9 yards. You can make a movie like in the 1980s, and I think there's a market for it. I really do. I don't think you have to have the $350 million CGI spectacular. And A24 and Blumhouse prove that to be true all of the time.
The other thing comes down to is that sometimes people don't want to live near where that is, so it causes a strain on travel and stuff like that. So like I said, not everyone wants to live in Hollywood. You know?
But the thing is, once again, the way that we can do things now, you can send all this, you can do everything at home and come up. A lot of people do anyway. A lot of people make fan films and all sorts of stuff for YouTube.
Well,
some of them are pretty impressive.
The sad thing is, though, that talent is limited to the fan film style space, or like your friend here, the like Instagram space, instead of being courted by Hollywood. Because Never mind if someone wants to work with that kind of budget or whatever, but as an executive or as a leader of a big company like Warner Brothers or Disney or whatever, if I were in Hollywood, I would be going, okay, so clearly there are very talented makeup artists and visual effects artists and everything in the independent scene, and this goes also for like the big two in comics. Why is it not their responsibility to outreach to those unsung talents? Because back in the old days, that was how it worked, was you did your independent thing, and then if you blew up big enough, you'd get a call going, we would very much like for you to use your skills that you've developed on this next big thing or what have you, instead of now where it's, we don't really care so much about talent or skill. We just want somebody who will toe the appropriate ideological line.
Unfortunately. But yeah, once again, look around YouTube and you'll see people do. I mean, think of even some of the bigger YouTubers. What's his name? The guy with the glasses, Doug something.
Doug Walker. Yeah, with the
yeah, thank you. All those insert things that they do, that's all in front of a green screen in one studio, and you don't even have to have a studio if you have a garage or something that you don't normally use and such.
I think Linkara still does it mostly in his house.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And that's something that
basement set up for all that.
Yeah, it's okay. You can do movies now at your house. Think of of course, I know at this point he has a bigger budget, but Robert Rodriguez did the Spy Kid movies in his freaking garage.
Yeah.
So,
and when he is given an actual budget and resources to work with, we get Alita Battle Angel level quality.
I want to ask, how big is his garage?
I mean, he is a multimillionaire, so it
doesn't have to. Do you know what they did? They did have a platform that rose. It was one of those little mechanical, it's like a jack kind of thing.
Scissor lift?
Yeah. And they put Ricardo Montalban on it. Ricardo Montalban, at the time he did Spy Kids, I think it was 3, was he was bound to a wheelchair. He couldn't walk. So for the scene where he's running, for the scene that he stands up, they set the camera down and then followed him as the lift lifted him up.
Yeah.
And then they put the suit around him, and boom, you've got a
it was a very well done special effect too, by the way. Yeah. It was very well done. You couldn't tell really. So
and this is 2000. 2003, 4, 5 around there.
Yeah. 3 I think was 3D.
I don't know.
I think 99 was the first Spy Kid, and then like 2001 was Spy Kids 2, and then 2003 was Spy Kids 3.
I am glad my kids grew up when they did, because there were some awesome kid films that came out around there. I love the Spy Kid movies, Anastasia, stuff like that.
Shark Boy Lava Girl.
Dude, that was horrible. that one was crap.
I mean, it was horrible, but it was an enjoyable kind of bad, if that makes any sense.
I guess. Okay, let's get this.
I think if it had a budget, it wouldn't have been as bad as it was.
Somebody on Twitter sent me a DM and asked me if I would mention this. So let's get a copyright claim for this channel here. And I haven't seen it yet. So here, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a little talk about Gamera. Okay, so I found this one off of Bounding into Comics or something, but there you go. Apparently Netflix has a Gamera preview. Oh, it's only 20. Oh, that's it? Okay. Okay. That's so simple. Why would you want? Oh, hey, can you tell us your thoughts on that?
Is it going to be a live action like what they've been doing with the other ones, or are they going to be computer graphic?
Now, but here's the thing. Also, there's a chance it could be animated. Remember, they did have a 3-part movie of Godzilla. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah, and
that was pretty badass. I, on the other hand, at this point, I don't care. I want it. What do I think of? Okay, that's a good teaser, because obviously people who know who Gamera is going to be going, yes. I'm a huge fan of Gamera. And that being said, I haven't seen the movies in a year. So I actually, sometimes when I'm mad at Gail, I'll force her to watch movies I think she won't like. I'll just turn it on her. And what ended up happening was I found out that she loved Gamera movies, and I'm like, that I knew there was a reason I married you. Not him, but Gail. Yeah. And so I'm all for it, man. Give us some more. I like that Godzilla movie. I want to see Gamera. He's a freaking cosmic turtle. We should have got it in it. We didn't get it in it.
No Matern, no Octuin in the Discworld movie or series that Amazon did. So
I'm so looking forward to it, to tell you the truth.
Turtle lives matter. Gosh dang it.
The trailer isn't anything but going, oh, nostalgia. But hey, yeah, why not? Let's get a Gamera, and after that, let's.
I imagine their logic was, we don't need to sell this to people who already know what it is, so we'll just tease. and that'll be good enough for now.
And the youngs and as we were talking about, the normies will be like, I have no freaking clue what that is. What the hell is that? I don't know. I don't know. What are we gonna do?
Confused normie is confused.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So something else I wanted to talk about. 2 weeks ago, or last week, a movie comes out. It's called Black Panther, and Dalton liked it a little bit better than I did. Apparently, it's not doing as well. This is one of those weird things. It's like Batman versus Superman. Batman versus Superman's a big bomb. No, it wasn't. But they thought it was going to do $1 billion. Yeah.
Comparatively, though.
Hold on. No, it's in the middle. It is in the middle of the freaking Marvel universe. It's not a bomb. But everybody was talking about how it's going to make $1 billion. It didn't make. How anybody would expect a Black Panther movie without T'Challa was going to make $1 billion is beyond me. But
analytics and reputation is the answer to that question.
But point being is, money aside, more than anything, I have been hearing this is just one hell of a divisive film, and it's been getting criticism beyond just what's on screen, and sometimes for good reason. Now, from once again, I'm taking this from Bounding into Comics, so do what you will with it. But
put on your thinking caps, kids.
So anyway, Jason Whitlock. Who is this? Who is Jason Whitlock?
I don't know. Is he have a photo we can see?
The host of Fearless with Jason Whitlock. That doesn't tell me. Recently declared that the Black Panther sequel promotes matriarchy and racial idolatry. Excuse me. I'm still having some problems, guys. It says, during a segment of one of his most recent episodes, Delano Squires and Anthony Walker Whitlock asserts, when I talk about a message theme of a movie, I think about the audience, and most of the audience aren't pastors. He continued, and the people we saw dancing and buying all this stuff and putting on all the costumes, if we went to a barbershop or a beauty shop and people are talking about the Black Panther, they're not talking about vengeance and what really heals vengeance when they go see the movie. What they're talking about is race and what the racial message was. And Wakanda, he opines, and now we got the Mexicans involved, and they got a little perfect universe themselves underwater. And boy, if we could all just get away from the man, we would be living in a utopia. Okay, okay, I know this guy. I know Jason Whitlock.
I think he's one of those TradCon type people.
Well, he's on The Blaze. I've seen him. I didn't know the name.
Okay, so yeah, my assessment of
he goes
one
on
of the
to say
TradCon type people isn't far off.
He goes on to say, and so again, the movie is off of, and I don't know what this is a bad sentence. I think pointed this out. It's based off racial idolatry. You have to sit there and go, oh man, they gave this black man all this money to make the movie, and this is mostly a black cast, and this is about a black paradise. Everything's race. Whitlock reiterates. And so I think racial idolatry, and not that Anthony doesn't. So let me be clear. Racial idolatry is blinding us to reality. He goes on to say, and so the reality is that this movie does put on a little veneer of, hey, there's an overall message about vengeance, but what we really want you to take away from this is that, man, if these black women could just be put in charge and black men fall in line, we would have Wakanda. Look at it.
I think he's reaching. I think this is a case of one moralist trying to criticize another kind of moralist kind of thing.
Now, I got to say that he's not wrong about the fact that all the men have been swept aside. M'Baku, which is probably the best character in the movie, is only on screen for about 20 or 30 seconds. But and I'll tell you what, M'Baku owns those 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, he stands out in the time he's given.
Okay, so goes on to say, and then if we just put this little 120-pound, if she could be the Black Panther, see how much more moral she is than Killmonger. She sees Killmonger in a dream, and he's telling her to go for vengeance.
They didn't try to. They didn't try to make her seem more moral. The whole point was you're being put under the influence of Killmonger and you should renounce it.
Yeah.
Like that was, they didn't frame her murderous rampage as though it was in the right. They framed her giving up on it as being in the right.
He's in, I guess, their version of heaven, and he's telling, well, no, it's an ancestral plane where they can go into, what do they call those? The mind journeys, what did they say? Vision Quest. Vision Quest, yeah, or Dream Quest, yeah. And he's telling her, go be about that life. Go out there and get your revenge. But they show her as more moral.
Yeah, because she notices that he's wrong and stops herself. Like, you're minimizing the arc here, and you're trying to frame it as though the movie is saying that Killmonger is in the right when that is not the case.
Yeah. With like then bemoans, and then the final kick in the groins for me was after the movie's over, they then go dirty up T'Challa and say, you know what? He got a baby mama that's living over in Haiti. He was embarrassed, wouldn't take care. Well, no, he wasn't embarrassed. It wouldn't take care of her. Sent her off somewhere else to raise the baby, blah, 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 blah,
She wanted to go, and she went by herself.
Yeah, it was actually T'Challa and her decision that because they didn't want the kid to deal with all of the stuff that goes with the royalty. They done turned T'Challa, the prince, the king, the icon, and that they're allegedly honoring. They done turn him into a baby daddy. Now, he's not wrong there either. He is not living with his wife. He is not living with his kid. So he's not wrong in that.
But it's for their own protection for the most part.
Now that's why he sold them. You couldn't, you know, if you're going to the other direction, that's what they sold him. They could, as king and queen, make sure that whatever press, whatever situation like that is kept away from the kid while they were in the palace or while they're in Wakanda. But he chose not to live with his wife and kid. And the thing is without knowing it, they could be referencing the fact that most Black families do not have a father in the home. So he goes on to say a little bit later during the segment, he added, Angela Bassett Ramonda kept saying, hey, there's something I need to tell you about T'Challa, and she never got to tell it to her. He got this baby lover over in Haiti. He knocked up old girl and she left. I mean to tell you, this baby girl, but we gonna save it till after the credits when we dirty up and kick this and give this one more Black man a kick in the groins.
Why is that dirtying anything up? I know he's coming at it from a like traditionalist moralist framework. I'm just saying that like there's only about a half truth to this because he's extrapolating things that don't follow from it.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is that by doing this, it's like a stereotype, and unfortunately, it's a stereotype, as all stereotypes are, there for a reason. Yeah. And unfortunately, one thing that a lot of conservative Black people are trying to do is get this word out that, hey, you know, a lot of the problems aren't because of the man. It's because we're not taking care of our responsibility. If, you know, men have to stay at home, take care of your kids, and not just be a baby daddy. And I think I think that's kind of pushing this narrative because I know that is something that a lot of conservative Black people talk about. The only Black men they love is a dead one, he states. So all of this, we honoring T'Challa. Nah, you said if I speak in this freaking accent, how shut down will I be?
I'm sitting there like,
we honoring T'Challa. Nah, you celebrate another dead Black man, and now women are in charge, and bald-headed lesbians are the strongest, fearsome women on the planet, and they running around kicking everybody's butt. And then we go get MC lightweight Riri Williams from over in LA somewhere, and we gonna snatch her up, and she gonna come over here and kick butt in Wakanda.
Okay, reaching and oversimplifying times about 10.
Well, actually, that's literally what they did with Riri. Riri was nothing in this movie, dude. She was.
I mean, nothing is better than starts committing war crime because lawful dictator of country is bad guy, or oppress me so that I have a reason to oppose you.
I just don't think anybody at the beauty shop or barbershop is talking about the vengeance thing. They are talking about race, he declared. He wrote on Facebook, Wakanda Forever, it's bad if you pay money and hours of your life to watch it. You will feel bad. No, you won't.
Honestly, I don't think most people are talking about either of those things. The tradcons probably are talking about the vengeance thing, and the social justice types are probably talking about the race thing. But everyone else is talking about, oh, that was or was not a good tribute to Chadwick Boseman, and also where do you think the MCU is going with this? That's what most people, even the nerdier side of people, are talking about. It's only the moralists that are talking about either of those two things, because most people don't go to movies for moral lectures, be they tradcon ones or social justice ones.
Yeah. So he says, let's see, the plot is about weak and effectual women failing miserable at everything, and yet they lack the self-awareness to realize they reject the one thing they need to take care of themselves, but they think they're strong, independent women who don't need no man. Don't take your sons to this. It's an insult to all good things. So this is Richard Fox right there.
That's laying it on about 10 layers too thick.
I haven't watched this movie yet, but what I'm hearing from people is saying that this movie was actually a little better than the first one, in the sense they actually fleshed out Shuri, built her up more.
She's not as annoying.
What I said was
she's not as annoying though.
But overall, I'll never watch either one of these movies. I just don't care for the character. It's just, to me, I always see Black Panther as a side character background. Give him his own story. Cool for the people that like him. That's good for them.
Yeah, I will point to the Christopher Priest run, but in all honesty, that's the only run I'll point to.
And I'll point to it too and saying I didn't like it.
Ah, okay. They tried so hard to make a diversity and inclusion and accidentally made a movie that was a bit racist. Both of them are actually.
Yeah, let's not act like this is a new point in the movie's disfavor here.
Ethereal saying many queens have started wars and been terrible rulers. Disney is now the preachiest place on earth, says Glinzer. I mean, he isn't wrong that all the men have been swept aside and kept the people who stood out about less than a minute. Yeah. Once again, I think this is Angela Bassett's movie. And if you nope out after her death scene, I don't think you're missing much. I really don't. I think this was the Angela Bassett film.
I did see the photos of what the Namor's Kingdom looks like, and they compared it to basically DC's Atlantis. Holy crap, it's night and day. DC is a happy place.
Yeah,
when did that transition happen?
They put the Mexican Namor into the borrow. So let's see. Actually, when there's a ruler, there's a better chance, says in a disguise, there's a better chance for war. Women are more vengeful than men and will seek destroy those whom wrong them. Any man who has dated a woman knows this to be true.
I mean, I think male vengeance and female vengeance just present differently, basically.
Male vengeance could be violent, and we may even kill you.
Maranya's great, though.
A woman would burn you to the freaking ground.
Yeah.
And then kill you, and then burn your corpse, and then kill you again with your soul. Yeah, so it kind of does have that way if you are a black man. My friend has said something similar about the movie, and he is a black man, says Ahsoka.
So, yeah. Marania brings up a good point, though. We were told we weren't supposed to go watch it the first week. We were supposed to give our tickets to someone of color.
Oh yeah, I don't pay attention. Some girl on TikTok going, "Oh no, you white people can't go see the movie." I'll tell you what, you stop me, then we'll have that discussion. But otherwise, go yourself.
Can somebody just set off an electromagnetic pulse at TikTok's offices so that none of the modems work? I think the world would just be better off without TikTok in it.
Let's go back to the 90s with no internet. Chaos.
I wouldn't go that far. I'd say pre 2016 YouTube, pre 2013 Twitter, and 2007 Facebook would be good enough.
Bring back Betamax.
Yeah,
So,
if we lose Twitter, VENKMAN wouldn't be able to read as many comics as he does.
Yeah, we brought up
Twitter.
MARANYA, of course, joking about the whole white folks can't be talking about Black Panther, but what Ahsoka brings up something I brought up in the review. Wakanda colonized all the freaking countries around them to create a larger Wakanda, and then every time a white guy shows up, hello, colonizer, I put this spear into your eye, you know.
As though they're supposed to be this united Africa.
Yeah,
meanwhile, the people literally on their doorstep are living in third world conditions.
The Wakandans act and the filmmakers act as if Wakanda is above the rest of the world, even though they are and embody everything that they say is wrong with the rest of the world. Let's see. Reggie Hudlin's run is good too, says Skip and Tosh. The old jungle action stuff is solid and fun. Yeah, I really shouldn't have spoken like that because I like the old stuff as well. And by the way, if you really want to look, if you really want to read something that as a modern kind of person, you'll go, ooh, read the first few issues of Jungle Action. They're really reprints of the Golden Age Jungle books. And yeah, those you can kind of go, yeah, we don't do that anymore.
I do give Disney props for their Avengers. Even though it's not the best cartoon, Image is the best one for Avengers. Avengers Symbol, they had Captain America and the rest of Avengers had to go to Wakanda for something because there was a villain there, and they said like, oh, Hulk, you cannot enter. You're not allowed to. And so I'm thinking like, so they actually held up and made the Wakandians look like dicks. They wouldn't step in to help anybody else. They just basically want to be left alone. So
isolationist, and this is a point that a lot of people made when the first Black Panther came out. You do realize that if any ethnically European country acted like Wakanda, foreign policy wise, they would literally be called Nazis because they would be isolationist nationalists.
All right, so this girl has been making rounds too. She did this TikTok, and she goes on to say, I am pissed. I am pissed because if Pushing an Agenda was a movie, this would be the forefront of that. This was Woman King on steroids. I don't agree with that. If you think
Woman King was worse.
If you think that I'm going to believe that 100-pound black woman soaking wet is just an almighty warrior and can just body dudes like it's no tomorrow, come on. Now,
and it's not like super strength or anything was established. Oh, wait.
Yeah, it was.
Superhero universe.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. She wasn't the fighter. She was the scientist. And all of a sudden, she's doing these freaking backbending martial arts moves. And look, I understand, though. Some people are saying, well, Namor had 500 years. He should be a very trained fighter. Who did Namor ever fight that would have given him a fight?
I would say with Shuri, though, do you think she didn't practice, with her brother or anybody else?
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, you don't think T'Challa is gonna at least show her the basics, or the Dora Milaje would show her some of the basics, or some of it could just be up to what the heart-shaped herb does to somebody's senses?
She never wanted to be Black Panther. That was her brother's sake. She was more the scientist.
So this girl,
so she still didn't want to learn how to fight, though. I'm sure.
In all
they're
honesty,
a warrior culture.
Yeah. In all honesty, when we did our review, I mentioned that royal families in the past would teach kids how to fight. So, or at least the sons. So this girl continues, like, instead of Wakanda, it should have been called "Where Are the Men?" because they was not there. They were not. How are you going to use "they were not present" right after you? They was. Okay, it's they were. Both times.
It's
and
learn to English, please.
And the ones that was there, see, you used it right in the middle of two bads. And the ones that were there was weak. But all the women that was in the movie, okay, that one was used right. That was in the movie was just Brolic, built strong Hercules, or what? Look on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. We did a video called "Man with Boobs." And we did that because whenever any comic book, I'll redo the video. Fuck it. Whenever a comic book writer wants to do a strong female character, They just write them as a man with boobs. They do not make him feminine strong. They make him masculine strong. She then questioned,
and then the artists don't draw the boobs.
And
Right.
Meanwhile, they feminize the crap out of the male characters.
What is this saying to us? Perpetuating the idea of a strong black woman and a subservient black effeminate man? I just think that's disgusting. I'm completely upset by the movie, and yet they got your money.
If that's what they're doing, sure. But I mean, if you're just saying that and that's not in the movie whatsoever, then you're wrong.
That's the thing. It's not that the points aren't there. It's that the points are so exaggerated or so taken out of context that you can tell this is a person who went in looking for something to be mad at and found it.
Okay, so this is where she goes off the rails. She says, man, did this Kyrie Irving didn't teach me anything. It's when you put your life, career in the hands of other people that don't look like you, then they can make you do whatever they want to do. Sorry, hun. This movie was made by a buttload of black people. Unless you're talking about brown skin with a whole bunch of fake ass hair in your head, then
that
also again, people don't go to movies for morality.
So that photo right there showed where she was fighting against, I guess these are like military soldiers, whatever stuff. I'm pretty sure these guys aren't up in like taekwondo and all that stuff. You know, they're just basically the grunt guys.
Well, they're taught
that's every science fiction movie. They're the grunt guys.
Yeah. Well, these ones. Well, they are taught.
They're trained with a gun and hand to hand.
They're taught hand to hand fighting, and but these guys thought that their guns were short range weapons. That was the big problem. Oh my gosh, the Dora Milaje. At one point, I think we saw one of them cut a bullet down. I'm like, wait, no, they've got spears, but they're still human beings.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure about the Black Panther costume, but I mean, if she's wearing the costume, she's throwing guys around in the costume. They're complaining about that. I mean, they could have established it in the MCU if they already haven't done so. Maybe they did.
But the suit is a power suit.
Yeah, like the Batman Beyond Super Terry McGinnis. He's a small high school kid, and the suit gives him like strength of 20 men. It's like,
let's see, Wakanadian. Wakanadians are isolationists, says Skip and Tosh. Hickman understood this in Hoxpox and had them turn down the Krakoan mutants' 3 miracle drugs and turn down the Krakoan other terms, as I turned down the Krakoan X-Men 100%. Let's see, it's a monarchy. They aren't trying to be nice. They are trying to protect their own from outside forces. The only heroics outside of Wakanda is what Black Panther does was right. But they put themselves above the world. Yeah. When they are they're colonizers, they're warmongers, same as any. The whole point of this movie was to keep resources out of the hand, to keep the same resources. Doesn't matter if it was the mound, it's out in the ocean. It's out in the ocean for anybody to find.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the main thing was Namor went to Wakanda to tell them no, but it's okay. Anyway. To tell them to get the scientists that he should have had no mention or no idea of. Anyway, point being,
for people who are upset about women taking out guys that are twice their size in movies that are all fantasy based, it's fantasy. If they're saying going around saying that like, an actual real story, like an actual nonfiction story, where a woman's taking out guys and throwing them around, saying, and she's only like 5'4" and like 80 pounds, and taking a guy, he's like the size of like Lizzo,
The Rock.
Throwing around.
Well, here's the thing: we get it, and we've seen it. We've seen it 1,000 times in comic books. We're okay with it in comic books. It looks a little bit more silly when it's live action. I get that, but
it's silly when it's
it does happen.
Well, and again, it's not like they don't establish why that difference is the case. Usually it's, this character has super strength because some either supernatural MacGuffin or some super science MacGuffin. Like,
well,
it's
you'll
not,
see like
not that hard to figure out.
Batman and Robin jump into a big group of goons, and Robin's sidekicks Robin sidekicks a 6'4" guy, and the guy goes, oh, and he flies aside. He's a freaking 10-year-old kid. I don't care how freaking skilled he is. Oh, I hit you right in the hip. Yeah, I know. I felt that. Bam, 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 bam. And he's not doing damage. He just doesn't have the musculature for it. But in the comic books, oh, sidekick. Oh, and we'll go, okay, next page. You know, we read it. But when you see it in a movie, it doesn't quite fit. Let's see. It's fantasy isn't great. A great answer. Why didn't Frodo and Fellowship drive a Hummer to Mordor? It's fantasy. Yeah. You have to follow the rules of the movie.
In universe logic and just general like human behavior logic, which they do generally. So
you're watching Terminator, a killer robot shows up. Okay, you get it. It's Terminator. You're watching Lord of the Rings, killer robot shows up. Point of order, guys.
Yeah. It's like we were in a completely different setting not 5 minutes ago.
I'm just saying.
If he didn't get to the battles, that's why.
I'm just saying, don't put your rules in somebody else's creation and what they're doing. You know, it's your own rules. It's cool, but you're right to be upset. Don't you don't like the movie? That's your but don't get out of people who like something because you can't fathom. Why do you like this character?
I never understood people who
like the movie didn't explain it to you is the other thing. A lot of people like they come up with these questions and then I'm like, if you were actually watching the movie instead of just sitting there nitpicking it, you would have the answer to the question you just get raised.
Now, okay, I forgot what I was going to say based on that.
You know what? I would, Valentine. I want a Hummer cut now, and I'm driving to Mordor. Give me that shit. Or how about this? They ride the freaking owls to the volcano, and
how about we get the Easy Rider version, and they're all on their motorcycle?
Dude, yes, man.
There you go.
I want Gandalf to ride.
This Tolkien fan in me is wanting to kill all of you now. I hope you know that.
Instead of the scene in The Hobbit where they're all where all of the trolls are sitting around talking about what they're gonna have for dinner, they're all just smoking a joint and they're
But I want to know who came up with the rules. Like, understand the fantasy genre has rules. Who came up with those rules? Who decides who those rules are and when they should be applied?
Well, it depends on your movie.
It's fantasy. It's imagination.
Yeah. When you write a movie or when you write a book, when you write a comic, the rules of your universe are set. And so if you step outside of those rules, then your story kind of falls apart.
Die Hard.
Now, beyond that, there is a kind of universal logic of basic behavior or basic mechanics is kind of factored in. You have to establish exceptions to the rule rather than reinvent the entire wheel, as it were.
Dude, I love Die Hard, but I'm sorry, he stepped on his glass, he'd have been shot and killed. Like, he's walking across, he has no shoes, he has no socks on, he's crawling through the vent. He could have got lost in the vent and died in the vent.
Well, if you're thinking reality,
that's what I mean.
When he jumped, when he fell from one vent to the other, his fingers would have broken and he would have just slid down to his death. Yeah,
he would have cut his fingers on the sharp edge of the metal.
There's no way. Plus, yes, you did see a lot of deep cuts in his feet, but I do see how the will to survive could keep you going.
Adrenaline.
Right. My dad told me stories about the Vietnam War, about how people did far more with far worse. But there's no denying that when he fell from one to the other, he's breaking his fingers and he's sliding. That is not a successful jump, guys.
Current DC Batgirl can pwn Doomsday if she wants to. She just gets other heroes to do it for her and takes claim.
Well, there you go. There you go.
It's like
they never should have stopped making Batgirl Oracle. That was a perfectly organic end to her character.
The weird thing is though that she's still Oracle though, even though she's got her legs back. She chooses to be the girl in the chair. No matter what book I read, Detective Comics, Mariko Tamaki. You read the current Batgirls, she's still she's the girl in the chair. She's not going around wearing the costume. It's good. Like I said, it's
good for her. I haven't read some of the recent stuff.
Isn't it funny though? We got like the Burnside. She came back. Oh, she's got it. Now she's no longer Batgirl anymore. She's back to being the girl in the chair. But she can still walk though.
That's because in the Joker War story, the chip that was fixing her back got damaged. so she has to take it easier.
Yeah.
Like it's a compromise between the two.
Basically, they wanted it back. There could be no Oracle.
Alrighty. I do need to bring this to a serious note. We are experiencing a cold front right now. My cold front would pretty much make you Northerners laugh your ass off. If I told you how, if I told you how cold it was, you guys would be like, summer.
Well, he's in the land of the ice and snow, regardless.
Wait, is it down to 60 degrees for you?
Yeah, I think it actually got into the upper 40s and lower 50s for a little bit.
That's what my friend, she said it's been the 40s.
For me,
and that's cold for you.
For me, that takes me freaking out of it. Right now, it's actually high 60s, early young 70s.
Oh, so
but here's the thing, because my winters are so sparse, because we have 2 days of cold, and then next week I'm going to be in shorts and sandals again, I do get a little bit jealous. And I heard something about Christmas that I've always wanted to try, that Walmart tries to sell them to us, but there's no point, and that is the bad Christmas sweater. I see you guys wearing them from up north. I'm thinking, oh wow, that looks so cool. And what's
people are wearing them?
well, what's more is they now have bad Christmas sweaters for geeks.
Oh, they've always had them. Yeah, they've had them for a couple years. They've had.
Yeah, and while we're transitioning the story, I actually have to dip out for a second because I have to go take my meds.
Okay, but, come on back. Come on back for the last story of the evening, sir.
Yeah, once I'm. It'll take me like 5 minutes. I'll be back.
This is from something called Numbskull Nerdy Christmas Sweaters. I love these Star Trek ones right here. I specifically the Bones McCoy. I've always liked that one. I used to. I made a shirt of the Bones McCoy.
You can make one. You can have one. You just got to crank your AC up.
Yeah, no.
But no. Redbubble is where I got my Captain America sweater, but when the first Avenger came out. So
this is awesome right here.
Jaws.
I mean, you've got the Jurassic Park. E.T. is gorgeous. I love the Jaws as well. I'm looking over here. I'm trying to figure out
Ghostbusters.
That looks like Ghostbusters.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I see the Marshmallow Man and everything.
Ecto's right now below it, yeah.
But these two right here, freaking hell yeah. That is awesome. I love both of those, man. Seriously. I saw these. I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
The only thing that would make it better if he would have had like a turkey in his mouth.
Here you
Jaws. Go. Yeah. Now, does it light up, though?
I don't know. I'm not going into this and reading the article.
Because sometimes they do. They have those light up hats for people, the Christmas hats.
Yeah.
Winter hats.
I gotta say, these aren't ugly sweaters. Well, maybe this one because it's Sonic, but
you can also get ties too. There's Christmas ties you can wear.
Let's see, what else do we have here? I don't see this one.
Oh, that's just the same thing. It looks like Ghost.
No, this is Shrek. This looks like The Office of some sorts.
Yeah, maybe.
And this is the one I can't figure out. It's too small for me to see. It looks like He-Man. Yeah, it's He-Man.
Yeah. It's just one sweater. They wear it together.
So it says, make a style statement, choose your favorite show. Elf,
Suicide Squad,
The Grinch, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, E.T., Suicide Squad, Back to the Future, Shaun of the Dead, Batman, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Star Trek, Jurassic Park, Jaws, Ghostbusters, Minions, Trolls, and He-Man. Yeah, these look awesome to me. And but the thing is I can't. There might be like 4 days in the entire year that I might wear.
For me,
like this.
I look at the price of them.
Really?
I don't know what these are, but a lot of them are like $40 and up.
Oh wow, it's for the
then
rich
you
people.
get the bigger. You depends on what size you're getting to, and because it's a limited quantity, so they purposely jack the price up online because they're shipping it to you and all that stuff.
Yeah, that just looks fun.
But where's the Back to the Future one?
I do have to admit though, this year I'm kind of in the Christmas spirit a little bit early. I really am. It's
I got my lights up ready like a week ago.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm listening to the music, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
there are bad Christmas tie shirts too, says Joe Rogers. My one question is what changed. Oh, hold on. Oh, it's -15. Hey, I admit I would not be able to stand your winners. That being said, come in August, we'll run a foot race. My fat ass will still be like, hey, how you doing? I'm used to breathing water down here. You need some alone time. Yeah, a little bit. Thank
That's
you.
the thing. You pretty much Florida is just one giant mist.
Oh, in summer the air is so heavy. I remember we went to Tennessee one time for a vacation, and we were like, where's the air, man? Yeah, it was like you guys don't have water in your air. It's so weird. I felt the same way in Chicago.
I've gotten a little taste of what you guys get. Our dew points is when it gets. That's what I go by, because that's when the higher in the 70s. That's when it gets like you. That with the water, you just go outside. You're like, I'll just grab soap. You know?
We did have a cold rain yesterday. That always sucks. Sucks.
Sometimes we get those. Like, we get like 6-degree weather and you get rain. That's the day I don't like it. It gets kind of damp, especially if you're used to like 80s, and then it gets that. I could see a shock for that. Now imagine going from 70 degrees to like 29 the next day. That's what I had. That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But we do get that. We get like in the summertime, like between 3 and 5, we get rain.
I can't tell if it's El Nino that's affecting everybody now, or what? El Nino and El Nino, one of the two, whatever was supposed to be possibly affecting. But right now we're getting that warm band coming up. It's gonna be 50 degrees on Thanksgiving.
A warm band. 50 degrees. I'm like, we had yesterday was a cold day, and after I was driving everybody around doing all the errands, I did a chauffeur job even, and it was okay. It was okay in the car. As soon as I got home, I didn't want to leave the covers. I was like, okay, this is the perfect place to be now. It's so.
That's how I am. I got the heating pad on and everything. I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
If I have my door closed and I just have the hot air blowing in, my room gets up to like 78. As soon as I go out in the other part of the house, it's like, holy crap, I walked through the freezer.
Thank you, Cumberbatch. Just sent comic payment through PayPal. I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's true. You want the shovel rain, but I don't want the wind damage. You guys get those high winds, the hurricanes coming through.
Yeah.
You guys are like in the middle of the ocean, just sticking out there like, hey, just hit me with a hurricane.
It's a lot of fun, but thankfully I'm in Central Florida. I mean, that's the place to be. Of course, we're talking about moving to the coast to be near family. Plus, we looked, and it's actually cheaper to live off the coast than it is in Central Florida now.
Like my brother, he moved to Destin. That's where he's right now, because he has to drive over to the Pensacola base.
Yeah,
he's in the air guard. He's working in the F-35s. He said he loves it right there. The little Gulf singer. He's got beach property. He's renting for $2,000. But I told him, like, no, I just want to be down there because the insurance you're paying for, flood insurance, if you own the place too. Renting's different.
Yeah, well, it's not. A lot of places are built where, like, our yards slope away from the house. So,
but he's literally, his beachfront property is a dock.
Yeah, I get that, but it can. I lived on. We had a house, and it was like one of those. It was a mobile home. Yeah. But you could only tell it was a mobile home from the outside. One of those situations. But we had it get so bad that it did. It was in 2008. We had a hurricane. It took 4 days to get past us. So it was just dumping rain on us. And when you when you live in Florida, you have to elevate your air conditioning and everything. Make sure the water can't get to it. But nope, that thing came right up to it. It was it flooded us pretty good.
I see those people. They're down there, like to South Orlando when that last hurricane. They gotta get these people have the fancy indoor pools, and they got the little canal that goes supposed to be between their yards, and you see that the water gets higher and higher and higher. There goes someone's boat going down. I'm just thinking, like, it's great for weather and stuff of that, as far as warm when it's nice out. But like, man, I told Pixel
it's not worth the possible consequences.
Every live stream I go on Pixel, hold on, I gotta mute, but there's thunder. It's...
Well, okay, so we were talking about Florida. Something happened in I guess you could say Florida, but in all honesty, California as well. It's Disney.
Poison Ivy's truck and turned all them into basically plants. Look at that Donald Duck behind you.
Yep. Except what really happened was Bob Chapek is out and Bob Iger is back in as far as the CEO of Bob Chapek. Yep. No. And it happened overnight, and everybody. There was actually cheers, by the way. Somebody filmed the parks when the news hit, and people were cheering in the parks that Bob Chapek is no longer CEO of Disney. Bob Chapek has damn near killed every ounce of good faith that Walt Disney has ever had. Bob Chapek is the one that said that, no, we are going to push we're going to push the woke agenda. Bob Iger never did that. Now, some people think this is a great thing. Some people think, okay, we are we're going to see an end to the reservation system. We're going to see the prices go down. You're not seeing price one go down. I doubt. Okay, maybe I'm a little.
It just
bit more
won't get
cynical.
worse.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a little bit more cynical. But the thing is a lot of stuff that we're seeing is almost like the child or the brother of stuff that Bob Iger did. Bob Iger, okay, you like to go to the concerts for the Food and Wine Festival, go see some old band that's like Boys to Men or Dennis DeYoung from Styx. I always saw him. Monkeys would show up. If you want to go see that, well, now you got to buy a dinner as well. Yeah, that was Bob Iger. Before you could just stand in line, go see the free concert. Now they're like, what we're going to do is if you buy a dinner, we'll give you a seat in the concert up front. And then they kept going. Okay, front, back, next. And now they don't let people in that didn't buy a dinner until all the people who did that wanted to see the concert are in. And sometimes the standby line, nobody goes in. But he's done stuff like this, like, oh, wow, I noticed everybody loves to see the fireworks that we've been giving away for free over here. So if you have an upcharge, we'll let you sit in the best seats. So that was actually started by Bob Iger. A lot of the evil tactics that Bob Chapek got blamed for, Bob Iger really started. But Bob Chapek said, no, that's a great idea. Let's turn that shit.
Run it off the cliff.
Yeah. He just went full hog on everything. Go on ahead, Vink.
Here's my question now. Is this going to change their VAC status? What is the current VAC status of Disney?
Oh, no. They dropped that. They dropped that a couple of years, or a year and a half ago.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they're still pushing that because remember.
Gail actually told him you're gonna end up firing me because I'm not gonna get it.
That's good.
Yeah.
So is Splash Mountain come back and bring him back to your boy?
We're gonna be talking about that in just a little bit. But a lot of people are seeing this as a good thing. Hopefully some of the magic will return, because even though Bob Iger was making it so Disney made a buck, they never took anything away from you. And that's something that Bob Chapek did. Bob Iger just realized, like, hey, okay, people love the concert. Let's tie it in with a dinner. Then we'll sell more food. We'll make money that way. And in all honesty, it worked, because me and Gail, we love the atmosphere, but all of our money, we don't, we rarely, I should say, would buy like the $50 t-shirt or anything, but we're more apt to go to the restaurant. We just realized that the price of a sit-down meal was not that far off from a price of a fast food meal. Tie that into the concert, it works. Yeah.
The other thing about Bob Iger that he doesn't get enough credit for is he is the guy who took Disney from a studio to owns literally all the IPs, because that was largely both under his tenure and partly due to his negotiation that led to Disney buying Marvel and Star Wars and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So that's the other thing. The stupidest take about the Bob Chapek situation I saw was from the Critical Drinker, because he said that Bob Chapek wanted to undo the wokeness and that Bob Iger is the one that started it. And I burst out laughing before hitting the dislike button, because it was like, you, sir, do not know Bob Chapek at all.
Yeah, but the thing is I don't see Bob Iger being the freaking hero that's going to bring down costs and end everything. I see him as the guy who's going to come in and try to convince you that what they're doing is right. That's how I see it. Now, once again, maybe I'm being a little bit too cynical. I hope I'm wrong, but I do believe that Bob Iger is, because he's only CEO for 2 years and they're going to replace him. He was retiring, so he's only for 2 years. So it seems
I think
to me,
they're bringing him back in to fix Chapek's mess. I think that's what he's going to do, is he's going to roll back everything that Chapek did, and then
I don't think he's rolling back. I don't think he's rolling back anything. Now, hopefully, once again, I'm wrong. And by the way, I will be glad to say you were right. I was wrong if I am, but I just have this sinking feeling that he's more a flim flam man coming in to make you appreciate the fact that you're getting less than what you used to for more of cost.
I think he's just gonna roll back everything Chapek did and then act like the last 2 or 3 years didn't happen.
God hope. What I would like to see is an appreciation of annual pass holders. I would also like to see some of the things returned to pass holders. One thing I've mentioned this, and I think whatever park stops that stupid pay for parking at their hotels is going to win. Universal is coming up now. They're going to have this Mario Land, Nintendo Land, and I think it's going to really be a slap in the face to Disney now.
Especially because, did you hear that after the Warner Brothers Discovery contract is up, the rumor is Universal is going to buy Warner Brothers, and that means they'll have access to all of the DC characters and all the Warner Brothers characters for their theme park. So that would be a very good state of affairs.
Once upon a time, I would have been pissed at that. I'm not. The only thing that I see that would be a bad thing is how Warner Brothers did not do any Universal, or not Universal, but Namor or Hulk movies when they had them. Warner Brothers had sat on this great IP for 40 freaking years. It did a couple of cartoons. They did Batman TV show, Superman TV show, sure, but they should have been movies. It should have been pushing envelopes. And finally, in 1978, they had to be dragged in, kicking and screaming into the cinema. It's so, and even after that, after they discovered that Superman is this really profitable IP, they didn't go forth and put out.
Kids.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that we got a Howard the Duck, that we got an Ant-Man, that we got a Guardians of the Galaxy before we got a Wonder Woman. I mean, granted, I know we got the 1970s TV show, but we should have had movies galore. At the very least, Warner Brothers could have started up an animation studio that put out cartoons based on the DC.
I mean, look how positively Mask of the Phantasm is remembered, for it does deserve to be. If they had released all of the original DC animated universe movies in theaters like they did Mask of the Phantasm, that alone could have been a thing.
They would have had, and I would have loved this, they would have had to flesh them out a little bit, make them feature length. I hate the fact that a lot of them are only an hour 10, because
the made for TV time.
Still good, and I enjoy them, but they are kind of rushed. But as far as the Iger thing, I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. I would like to see annual pass holders, Florida residents, be respected, because we're the ones that kept you in business when the pandemic was going on and people couldn't travel. Floridians kept them in business. The annual pass holders are guaranteed money. and we do spend it there, it's ridiculous how they treat it. They're taking away stuff and they're charging more. Bob Chapek's entire plan was to raise the price until only the uber rich could afford to go.
It's that one scene from Jurassic Park that Danglin and I keep mentioning over on the Disney Channel. If we can charge $20,000-$30,000 a day and people will pay it. We'll have a coupon day for everyone.
So, but I'm cynical. I'm really cynical about it. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. And a disguise is saying Chapek was set up, that Iger jumped out when the pandemic hit, let Chapek take the fall, and then come back once everything was over and look like the savior.
But saying Chapek was doomed to begin with, because Chapek is genuinely a skinflint and doesn't like repairing anything park-wise.
Maranya is talking about, of course, the Batman animated series, and they did have the Animaniacs. But even after the Batman, the Adventures of Batman in the 60s, and of course Super Friends, which led to the TV shows, they just, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit, they should have been on the big screen more, but that's just me. Anyway, guys, there you go. Those were the topics I wanted to talk about. Once again, me and Dalton are a little bit on opposite sides of the Iger Chapek thing. I really do hope he is right on this one.
So is this going to affect the movies or just the theme park?
It's mostly going to affect the theme park, because that was what really was tanking. But the movies, I
do expect a bit of an overhaul from the movies, at least in some of the executives. Like, I think we'll finally see the end of Kathleen Kennedy, because that was supposedly what Iger was planning right before the pandemic hit, and he decided to.
I heard that Rian Johnson was greenlit for his own trilogy.
Oh no!
Fingers crossed.
But that's a rumor, though.
Don't do that to me, Venkman. Don't make me.
Just watch
Sepulchre preemptively.
Don't worry, though. Don't worry. There's only 3 Star Wars movies, so you can watch.
That is true.
There's
Wars.
6.
No, there's Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi.
Exactly.
That's the only Star Wars movies.
There are 6. Especially given how badly the sequels screwed everything up, we all need to realize that the only problems with the prequels were on technical level, like thematically and everything. Tonally, they still worked.
Okay.
And I'd much rather a technically flawed movie that was still Star Wars at its core than a pretty movie that literally craps all over the legacy of Star Wars because Rian Johnson just doesn't like Star Wars, derp. Well, then why are you making a freaking Star Wars movie then, right?
Right. AMC's Best Christmas Ever marathon goes heavy on Bill Murray with Ghostbusters. Okay. I guess they're going to be doing the I was looking for other things, and I found that, and apparently they're going to be doing a whole bunch of Bill Murray films for a Christmas marathon. But then I saw one of my favorite memes, and this is, by the way, absolutely true. This is why we don't put Christmas lights on palm trees.
Evil Black Cat, yes.
There we go.
He found this on his own.
Oh, he did? Okay, because you have Black Kid posted that.
Oh,
I saw that, and I nearly spit my drink out.
Yeah, it is kind of funny, and it is very true.
Only in Florida.
Oh, yeah. We're 12. Oh, so anywho.
Hey, at least they're not the motion lights where it goes from one side to the other to the other. That would have been bad.
Right. Rhaegar, people keep telling us that there are 11 Star Wars movies, but I've only seen 6.
After watching Star Wars,
and 3 of them were.
I'm just saying, after watching the original, only 3 there is. Why would I want to watch anything better than that? Because there isn't anything better than that.
Well, that's the way I feel about, like, I hear people say, "Well, this ruined it." No, it didn't. The first 3 movies are as good as ever. You don't have to watch any of the others, and I'll bet you most of you haven't watched at least Rise of Skywalker since it came out.
I watched the latest trilogy, and I watched Phantom Menace and the one after that. I didn't need to watch the other one because I know I don't care.
If I do
you didn't watch the best one of the prequel trilogy. What the heck?
All I heard is he kills children and he's happy about it.
Yeah, because it's his villain origin story.
If I watch a Predator movie marathon, I'm not gonna watch Predator, the one that came out a few years back. That's the one that's crap.
It's like we know, like in Predator, we know he's the big bad guy. I don't need any of an origin story who the Predator is.
I agree with you, Rhaegar, that there are only 3 good Star Wars movies, but I disagree that they are the 3 originals necessarily, because here's something I will say that's controversial. There are 3 good Star Wars movies, but there's only 1 good Star Wars movie per trilogy. Empire is the only good one in the original trilogy. Revenge of the Sith is the only good one in the prequel trilogy. And Rogue One is the only good one in the Disney trilogy. Those are the 3 good ones.
You're high.
Yep.
So in our genre, in the geek world, what is to you a perfect franchise? Or at least a winning one? Like Lord of the Rings, boom. I don't even count it as a trilogy anymore. I watch it as one movie. But
it's hard because like certain movies only have 2 movies, like Top Gun only has 2, so you can't really say as a franchise. There's only been 2, But that
there's going to be a third one because it made $1 billion. Let's be honest.
But that's not a franchise. No. So I'm bringing up a geek franchise, a geeky franchise.
I would for I don't really call it a geek for me.
Captain America.
I would say Mission Impossible. I love every one of those movies. I don't.
No, I never got into those.
3 wasn't that good.
See, I would say 2, but I still liked it. I still like all of the Mission Impossibles. To me, 2 is the
best. 2 was the best before they made 5.
2 was a freaking ripoff of freaking Notorious. I had a hard time with that because I am a huge Alfred Hitchcock fan, but
I want to say though, because
hard time with
no, I look at Mission Impossible. It's still going. I'm always looking forward to the next movie coming out because they're better and better as they go along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I used to feel that way about James Bond, but after Pierce Brosnan left, they brought in Daniel Craig. After that first Casino Royale, kind of the quality went down. So I mean,
yeah, I hate the Daniel Craig era. I really do. It misses the.
Yeah, John Wick would count. Yeah, that's 3 films.
True. Yeah, John Wick.
John Wick is probably the most consistently good franchise in the last couple of years. And by the way, John Wick 4 looks awesome. Again,
yes, I know. I'm so looking forward to that. Yeah, I would put Captain America up there as well. I think all 3 films were really strong.
I think if you separate the Tim Burton Batman movies from the Joel Schumacher Batman movies, those would count. But unfortunately, for some reason, they didn't just reboot in between them.
Going by your own rule, that wouldn't count. Now, here's the thing. Events in the Tim Burton movies were mentioned in Batman Forever. So Batman Forever at least is part of that trilogy.
Yeah, that doesn't work because unfortunately they didn't let Tim finish.
What's the hate of Batman Forever all of a sudden? I actually enjoy that movie. It's cheesy as freaking. That Batman Forever is probably the most comic bookish of all of those original Batman movies.
And again, if they had just rebooted in between the Schumacher movies and the Burton movies, I could almost go with it. But because they are meant to be in, it's kind of the Superman Returns problem, albeit Superman Returns had this problem to a much lesser degree than freaking Batman Forever or Batman and Robin. Of if they had just let Brandon Routh be his own version of Superman instead of trying to tack it on to the end of the Christopher Reeve version, that could have been a good Superman movie. But unfortunately, because they were kind of in this limbo of, yeah, we're soft rebooting, but we're still going to make it in the same line, it fails.
So I want to get back to Batman Forever. I don't hate the movie, but there's things of it that just irritated me. The fact that he was able to steal the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm driving the Batmobile. No, Bruce would have had that on like fingerprint, voice identity lock, and all.
Making it in there.
Well, I mean, he did in the first movie. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't he in the subsequent
but
movies?
the other-
It
the
was
other
in the
part-
garage. You don't lock. You have the garage door locked. You don't lock the car door. It's something like that.
I know, but the other thing was I didn't like the Riddler becoming all deformed and stuff towards the end. It's like I just didn't care for that. It's just
I also didn't really like the Riddler being a comedic character because that has the potential to be an extremely dramatic character who can match
Obviously, we've
Batman
seen
on
that.
an intellectual
Okay,
level.
here's something I didn't like about Batman Forever. Hey, I get to kill. Nope.
no, you only do it once. Yep.
One flip. He doesn't keep flipping that coin until it says it's okay to kill somebody.
Yeah, it does not have two-faced
But
works.
the ending scene though, we're throwing the coins up on that once and he falls. You know,
That's in the comics. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
cool.
cool.
All right.
that was cool. I was like,
Harryhausen's Sinbad trilogy is awesome. Highly recommend it to everybody.
the original
Also,
Sinbad,
if you're going way back, check out a movie series called The Thin Man. Actually, Blondie is pretty good too. I actually like the Blondie comedies.
Joe
This
Rogers
is
says
a
Robin was
really
cool.
hard answer to. This is a really hard question to answer because there are so many franchises that all the cinematic movies are good, but
No,
the
that's what I'm talking
direct-to-video
about.
ones are
No,
terrible.
that's what I'm talking about. Just straight up cinematic franchise.
I agree though. I agree with Will Rogers though. Robin was too old. I want them getting a freaking 10-year-old going around kicking up bad guys. You know, that's what I want.
Like,
Let him
little
age up
Ki-
through the movies. Yeah.
Little Ki-Hugh Kwan from Last Dragon or something like that. That's what you want.
They should have had Data. Little
Okay.
kid.
Worst film in a good franchise.
Oof.
Like Alien 3 from now that's not even
Where's
the
the one
worst
with the
film.
cloner? Is that 3?
That was 4, but I think the director, his cinematography, the look of 4 actually it makes it better than 3. 3 is the worst of those movies.
Matrix
Or
4?
Matrix
Worst
4,
film
yeah.
in a good franchise.
But it's I'm just trying to think though, because like obvious choices. Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 3. It had a potential to be good.
Well,
but Iron Man
now
3 too.
here you go. Yeah. See, I don't think that Spider-Man 3 was actually a bad movie, tell you the truth, but it is the worst of the 3 films.
Yep.
Just saying.
Blade 3, I have a guilty pleasure for watching that movie. I just love Ryan Reynolds, Hannibal King. It's just
Now here's the thing: we talked about Matrix 4. Dalton and I. That was the first review on when we switched over to a movie channel, and there were good things about it. There were. It overall, I do not think that it's like they had some really good drawings. And they put it on the fridge with all the kid drawings.
It's just weird though. Like, apparently they didn't see Neil Patrick Harris being a cool bad guy in that, and decided.
What?
I saw that. I'm like, if you're gonna do the Batman, why isn't he the Riddler?
He would have been really good as the Riddler. But you gotta admit they did get a good. They did get a good Riddler, but yeah, I think Neil Patrick Harris would have been good as the Riddler as well.
But I agree though. That was probably the best part of the whole entire movie. Is Matrix 4 was that?
Oh,
Neil Patrick Harris 4 simply shouldn't exist. Honestly, like
that is
terrible.
True. Yeah. The Thor franchise has only one semi-decent movie, and the ones that I've seen, the first one, 2 was mad, 3 was I still need to see 4. No, you don't. Maranya Hunt, I love you to death. Do not watch that 4th one.
So
do yourself a favor.
I agree with you that it only has one decent one, but I would disagree with you on which one of them was decent. I think the only good Thor movie so far is Ragnarok, all things considered.
Ragnarok was a really change of direction. It went from real serious to like really campy. I was like, what the heck? You know?
because they realized that Dark World went in the complete opposite wrong direction, and they were just like, oh, you mean, and then Guardians came out and they went, oh, you mean we can actually be sincere about the over-the-top stuff? We don't have to ground it to death?
But
okay, let's do Ragnarok.
So the best part, though, I believe it's from Ragnarok, is when they actually show Asgard again. You know, they actually show the Warriors 3, and I believe we're in there, too.
And then they kill him off.
Yeah, then they kill him off.
I mean, I'm biased because I thought the best scene in Ragnarok was the scene where Doctor Strange was more Doctor Strange in 5 minutes than he was in his entire first movie.
Yeah, I mean, I love the first movie because it had the Warriors 3 had Sif and all there. It felt more like a Thor tale, like a classic Thor.
Ooh, Glenzer with the Rocky 5. So I have heard that some people are kind of finding some love for Rocky 5 nowadays, but it was the worst of them. And I don't think that Rocky 4 was a great movie or a good movie, but the hell, it was certainly a fun film.
I have a challenge for you. Okay. What's the worst Terminator sequel?
Ooh, Genesis.
Yeah,
that did not take any time whatsoever. Genesis.
Well, no, people would say Salvation, though. That's the thing. I like Salvation.
I think they're wrong.
There's also Fate.
Yeah, Dark Fate was pretty bad.
I actually liked it, and I remember me and VENKMAN.
They killed John Connor in the first 5 minutes.
Who cares? What happened?
People who care about Terminator.
What happened afterwards? I thought it was a fine film. It worked. It was basically the same as all other Terminator movies, but it was a fine film after that. Not the best. To me, Terminator, you could cut it off at 2. You could even extend it to 3 as they go into, okay, now we're at the war. I thought that Terminator Salvation was a great continuation of it. Because it was the war now. We have the go back in time shit. Now we're at the war.
So here's my question. The first movie, wasn't it a time paradox for his friend Kyle Reese being his dad?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
the time travel rules in Terminator get really, really screwy.
Time was already up. The world was going to end regardless because they changed it.
But I gotta say, of all of them, Genesis. Okay, and here's why.
Genesis, yeah.
It's spelled Genesis.
I know.
Say Genesis. So, anywho, this is why it's the worst. Now, granted, all of the sequels have some level of bad writing to them. I think 3 is probably the best as far as clean cut writing.
Yeah.
Then after that, and by the way, I think they go. You have Terminator. And then you've got Terminator 2. And then you've got Terminator 3. And then you've got Terminator Salvation. Then you got Terminator Genesis. And a little bit above Terminator Genesis is Dark Fate. But here's the thing. In Terminator Genesis, they do their little due diligence. They find out when they're going to release Skynet. And by the way, if you listen to what they say, oh my gosh, Skynet is going to connect the world and they'll be able to, wait, you mean like the internet? Have you like just now kind of compacted freaking the worst AI ever created in film history
for the last 30 years?
It's freaking Twitter. Twitter's going to destroy the world. I can see it.
Actually, come to think of it.
But really,
it's not Twitter, it's the cloud.
Yeah,
right. Twitter with nukes.
When you hear what they're saying, it's like, wait a second, we have that already. But anyway, when they discover when this is going to start, oh my gosh, it's going to start in 2016. Oh, what are we going to do? Because they're in the 90s still. And they decide, okay, we'll send you to 2019. Point of order. Excuse me. Look, you're going to travel through time anyway, except for you're going to do it second by second.
Why not just send them to the appropriate time?
Why send them anywhere? You're there. You're there to stop it already. Anytime you hear a mention, oh, wow, we have this great idea, kablooey, burn them down, kill them, do whatever you have to do to make sure that this idea never comes to pass. I guarantee you, you have a better chance of doing that than what they do in the film, which is send them to the future, where now they're working on a red digital clock. Oh, you see this red digital clock? It's counting down. It's only one more hour. Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
No, you had 40 freaking years or 30 years.
I wanted
to stop it, but no, okay.
I wanted to say with Rhaegar, I liked Terminator 3. There's a good ending point. It sets up Recon leading the resistance. You get to see Arnold coming back reprising his role, which I thought was going to be the last time, and I was happy for that because like the guy was getting old. But you see him going to this casket. The guy's like, "You're digging up my mother's casket. What the hell?" It's all weapons in there.
All weapons, yeah.
That was awesome. Come on.
But here's the thing. Like I said, every Terminator sequel has some bad writing, but the Genesis bad writing is in the story. Its story structure is bad. It's a dummy plot. The only way you can follow it is if you either are a dummy or you just don't think about the plot. The moment you add any kind of brain power to the movie, it falls apart.
And it sucks because there are movies where people make it so bad where it's entertainable. This is not the case.
Yeah. Superman 4.
Yeah.
Superman 4 is horrible, but
it's
I
fun to
love
watch.
watching it. Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about worst of a given franchise ones, you mentioned the Alien franchise earlier. What's the worst of the Alien franchise? I would say Alien Covenant, because even Prometheus wasn't as bad as Alien Covenant.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with you. It's kind of funny because everybody's like, "Whoa, Ridley Scott is going back to the Alien franchise," and then he just kind of shits all over everything to make what he did with his movies. That it makes 3 and 4 look good. I don't like either of those movies as well as I like Aliens 3 or 4.
Yeah, and it's not like Prometheus was a terrible rendition of the Ancient Aliens plot or anything, but I have discovered that I just generally hate whenever the Ancient Aliens plot gets evoked because it's always stupid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and how about this in Prometheus? I'm a scientist and I understand animals, but I'm going to poke this little vagina snake in the face. No, come on.
Because that totally doesn't have any negative repercussions depending or anything. No.
Yeah, it's
if you're a fan of the Ancient Aliens guy on History Channel, he appears in Resident Alien.
Yes, I remember, and he's. It amuses me that Georgios Tsoukalos has officially gone from I am the craziest motherfucker on the planet to I am literally now just grifting off of the fame I got from the Ancient Aliens franchise.
Yeah, they got that guy from Star Trek is now the alien. He's the evil alien, Mr. Sulu. It's one of the greats.
So Glenzer says Genesis, then Salvation, and he didn't see Dark Fate. Terminator Salvation is really a bad movie, but I'll watch it if it's on TV, says Rhaegar. Jen Isis says Rhaegar. Yep, that's how it's spelled, guys. That's how I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
Just like everyone here says Fant Four Stick.
Yeah.
Never seen Dark Fate. Probably. Did I just say Dark Face?
Is there a bad Fast
never seen Dark Fate and probably never will. I can't stand Terminator 3, says Rhaegar. Robots plus Cloud equals Skynet. Yeah, that tracks, says Rhaegar. Daenerys is always easy on the eyes, but I agree. Alien 3 and 4 are pointless. I agree, but
so you've watched all the Fantastic, or not Fantastic Four, but the other ones, Fast Furious. You've watched pretty much most of them.
Yes, I have. Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion on it's the worst one out of all of them? Because I want to see the last one where they go to space.
I've got to go with the last one. Like the first thing that popped in my head was a scene. And it's only because I really didn't like the movie, and I was MST3King the whole thing, and that was number 2. But I gotta tell you that last one was horrible. But I think one of the things I would love to watch it again, because I think that the Fast and the Furious movie makers understood that they've been getting more and more ridiculous, and they just wanted to push it and see how far they could go.
Yeah,
how far they can go.
Yeah. So it as bad as it was bad on purpose. So I would like to watch it again, give it another chance.
Maranya, you are correct. The Ancient Aliens hypothesis does go back to Eric von Däniken's Chariots of the Gods.
Yeah.
And I really wish he hadn't wrote that, because its only use is as a plot device in really, 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 really stupid sci-fi. And they bastardized Thor with it, so I'm even more angry at it than I otherwise would be.
So to this day, I've only seen Aliens, that one, and I've seen Prometheus. I've never really gone through and watched the other ones because either people say they're really bad or they're pointless. Aliens, I guess, gets the most praise.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That's why I
Yes.
watched it. So Prometheus,
It's
I'm
the
like,
best.
okay, let's show me how it started. I was like, all right.
One thing.
Alien versus Predator are really fun movies, even if they are kind of
I've
dumb.
seen those, yeah, but I'm talking about like this pure Aliens franchise, without the Aliens versus Predator. Yeah.
My daughter doesn't watch a lot of movies. I watch everything.
Oh.
So she's in the room with me and she's working on her computer. Tick, 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 tick. And I said, "Hey, you ever see Aliens?" She says, "No." I said, "Okay." So I know this is. I was so happy she did this because she's like, the movie's going, everything's going, it's okay. And as they're walking through, they land and they're walking through looking for survivors. I noticed she goes, tick, tick, tick. And she watches everything just like this. Is like, and then next thing she knows, she okay. Next thing I know, she leans back and she's like, and she stayed like that throughout the entire movie. It was great. And then so she got back to work, and I thought, aha. And I put on Terminator 2, and sure enough, she's tick 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 tick. Those movies are awesome.
Now, see, I can deal with all the gore and stuff, but when I saw that it was Alien vs. Predator with the woman who was the pregnant woman, that scene, and she had like, oh, there's something wrong with me, and they're all inside her stomach. I was like, oh, I just felt so bad. Like, I was like, why would you do that? Why would you put a pregnant woman in a horror movie? That is just disturbing. Yeah, she was full of like the little face huggers inside her. I was like, ugh. No. But
I just saw this. It's from MovieWeb. We won't stand too much on it because I think the headline is the story, but I love this. I mean, we all know James Cameron is a prick, but God bless him when he can stand up for artistic integrity. James Cameron told Fox execs to get the fuck out of my office when asked to reduce Avatar's runtime. I just dig that. I said something I've never said to anybody else in the business. I think this movie is going to make all the fucking money, and when it does, it's going to be too late for you to love the film. The time for you to love the movie is today. So I'm not asking you to say something that you don't feel, but just know that I will always know that no matter how complimentary you are about the movie in the future, when it makes all the money. Okay, so he's a dick, by the way, but I love the fact that he stood up and said, yeah.
Well, I mean, if kids can play 16-hour games, they can watch a 16-hour movie.
Avatar Way of the Water came revealed the moment he told Fox executive, get the fuck out of my office. Avatar cemented its place in the movie. Okay, there you go. According to the story, it's all just one thing.
Yeah, I don't know how much that is artistic integrity though, or that's just James Cameron being in he gets
ego.
Yeah.
Well, look, we've seen movies, especially like with Warner Brothers. They'll have a movie and Warner Brothers will step in and say, it's not crappy.
Cut out the most relevant half an hour. It won't affect the movie at all, will it?
Hey, Zach, this emotional core you have with the black guy? Yeah, let's get rid of all of that. It just they tend to do that.
Warner Brothers was its own worst supervillain for DC for a while there.
They've been that way for a long, long time. Alrighty. The only thing I remember from seeing the movie was when it was first out, was it being too hot in the movie theater and me losing my dinner outside. Sometimes I have. Oh, Aliens, by the way, since we were talking about the Aliens franchise. You guys know Chef Jack used to be part of this channel, my brother. I went to the movies. I was going to go say hello. He lived across the street from the theater at this time with his girlfriend. So I went and I talked. I said, dude, I just saw Aliens. It's so awesome. And my brother says, wow, you're talking. I want to go see it. I said, let's go. So I took him and like literally I saw it the next movie and then boom, in the same day, we got to go. All right. So he and his girlfriend go. I buy the tickets. It's cool. We sit down to watch it. My brother was never a fighter, but he's always a little bit bigger. Like time and size caught up to him, but when we were kids, he was always a little bit bigger. So I did have that going a little bit. And it was fun to watch him watch Aliens because he watched that movie mostly like this. when they get into the car, I forget what it's called, and that alien jumps into the doorway, he literally went, "Wah!" And I was like, it was one of my favorite moments. One of my favorite moments in life. I'll always bring that up.
Agreed, Maranya, though, on Avatar. It literally is just greedy capitalist stroke military evil dudes versus environmentalist tree huggers in CGI. Which is why I don't know as the sequel is going to be the massive world-shaking hit that everyone inside James Cameron's Yes Men circle is anticipating.
Lord of the Rings is an RKO movie. Evil genius wants to take over the world. Heroes stop him. I mean, you could break it. You could break down any movie that you want.
Yeah, but
like
the point is trying to do that with something like Lord of the Rings, you leave a lot of stuff out. Trying to do that with Avatar, you don't leave much out.
The thing is you can TV guide anyway. That's how they do their pitches. Give me the elevator pitch. You have what that means is when the elevator ride starts to stop, you need to sell me on your movie. So a lot of movies can be broken down, and I've said this before. I'll say it again, over and over and over again. It isn't what a movie is about; it's how it is about it that makes the difference.
And Avatar was not a good rendition of any of the things it was trying to be about.
I think it was, yeah. But you and me, we disagree on quite a few movies. So there you go. Anyway, kids, this actually has turned out to be a 45-minute goodbye. We managed another one. It's been awesome.
Yeah, we do that sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's okay. This is a non-topic. You did your main topic, and then you branch off a little another news story.
Well,
so
yeah, that's what Monday. That's what Monday is really about. We just start talking.
News.
Yeah, we just start talking about whatever the hell, and it works. So I guess the moral of the story is that Jaws and ET sweater is awesome and should be bought for Christmas. Yeah. All righty.
And good Ricky Bob Chepek.
Yeah, well, if you want to add that too. Yeah, good.
Also, if you want to support this channel, there's a Ko-Fi.com, which Marnie has basically put it right into the chat right there. Click on that. The money goes towards StreamYard, and it's basically getting Angleton into shape. We're going to turn him into the $6 million man, so we need that money.
We're going to need more than $6 million.
You know, I would like to give myself the birthday present of being down to 200 by July 29th of next year. Come on.
That is true. We need to end this. Dalton wants his sport ball.
Yes, no. Dalton wants to go.
I hate you all. Boot to the head.
He is a huge field hockey fan.
I hate you. I hate all of you. Boot to the heads.
That's right, Dalton. Enjoy your FIFA right now.
I hate all of you.
He's a true field hockey fan, but he only likes to watch it when it's being played by fat naked women.
Stop.
Or men who like to identify as women.
Stop.
So yeah.
The bit wasn't funny the first time. You made it go on too long.
See, you're wrong. They're dressed up as Peter Hooten, the perfect Doctor Strange.
I'm going to murder all of you. I hope someday you know that. When I murder all of you, you earned it.
Can we get a Doctor Strange that plays soccer? I want the FIFA edition.
I hate. They already did that with Namor. Don't put any ideas in there.
All right, kids. Once again, thanks for hanging out with us, and thank you to RDV, to Black Cat, and Dalton the Authenticator for joining us. And by the way, I didn't say this, so I will say yesterday. I'll say it now. Thank you very much for everything you have ever done, and I mean this. There's so much owed to Maranya as far as this channel is concerned, and I forgot to thank her at the auction.
Yeah, she's old gator jerky.
Yeah. For shame, sir. For shame.
Yeah. Okay. You and that damn gator jerky. So anywho, you guys have a great time as always. Thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.
Cheers, guys.